Hey everyone, it's Amy. I am the belligerent Bible worker, and I have not posted anything to this kind of personal side project channel for a year. That's because I have been working as a Bible worker at Sunnyvale, and I have a small channel and ministry there. And this has been a place where I wanted to collect thoughts and ideas. And so now it's become important again, and I'll tell you why. We just had a visit from the GC and the Central California Conference. And as part of a big marketing push to reach more people with the message of hope in Jesus, we are having to take a good hard look at our church. This is great from an evangelistic perspective because our churches are not often ready to accept guests. We'd love to think that we were, but we're not. So, over the last year or so, um, my friend Juanita and I have been concerned about this anyway, and this just so happens to tie in with my personal desires. So, I want to record my thoughts on getting our church's guest ready, and Juanita and I developed a rubric, guest readiness rubric, and we have 7 different categories where we rate churches as exceptional, acceptable, or action needed. So if you would like a copy of that rubric, please email me at askachristianfriend@gmail.com and I'll send it to you. But I'm going to, for those who want to listen to it or watch it on video, I'm going to go through it piece by piece here. So there's my long intro. And I want to start today with the parking lot, the arrival, and first impressions. So I'll make it short and sweet. Um, if you want to be exceptional, if you are looking to be the most careful with your guests and their first impressions, here's what you'll need: attractive signage. There's a lot of our churches that just have really small, hard to read signs. And we're looking at something that makes a first impression as well as is readable from 30 to 50 feet away minimally. It'd be nice if it was more down the road, but 30 to 50 feet will give people enough of a view from the road they can actually see it. So that leads to the second point, which is that you'll want plenty of visible lead time for somebody who's trying to turn into your church following their map on their phone. A lot of times it'll come up and your driveway will be hidden, or the signage won't have been visible until you're right up on it. And there's nothing more frustrating than passing a church a couple times while you're trying to get there. You're like, does anyone see me? Do I look like a dummy? So plenty of visible lead time. Test it out by having someone who hasn't been to your church before come in, and it'll also give you an opportunity to make a friend. But just ask people to map out your church and see if it's easy to get into your driveway. Um, a lot of churches believe that it's obvious where to go into their church. A lot of times it's not. Let me just tell you, if you have more than one door that people can see from the parking lot, make sure that your main entry door, the one you want them going into when they visit, is clearly marked with a bigger awning, with landscaping, with signage. By having greeters posted outside, any number of these things will work short term or long term. But if there's more than one door, people will wonder. Even in my own home church parking lot, Sunnyvale, there's an office entry and then the sanctuary main entry. And I remember my first day of work, I didn't know where to go. It seems like it would be obvious, but it's just not. So, yeah, again, things you can do: a really big, bright floor mat, the kind that people get made corporately with your logo on it. That's a good one. Um, Trees by the front door, a big awning if you can afford it, or just some signage. Enter here. There's one church in my area here in Northern California that's got doors every few feet all the way around, and they keep all but one of them locked, and they say it's for security purposes, but I think it's really just imperative that we make sure people know where they're going, especially when they're already uncomfortable on Sabbath morning. Um, it's really, really nice if you have marked places for visitors, veterans, handicapped folks, parents with young children is a really nice one. Basically, whoever you're trying to attract, I would put a designated parking spot. And if you want to take it one step further and do something really fun, you can switch it out. You can have signs made where you put in reserved for, and then you could even put somebody's name. You can slip in, you know, a chalk sign who it's reserved for, and really personalize the experience for who you're going after. A lot of people should be going after young families because your churches are dying. Of course, that's going to take a lot of program stuff, but if you can focus on the niche that you are already strong in, and then focus on the niche that you would like to grow. So I would just commit that to my whole program here. Um, Well-maintained buildings, obviously, if you have gone blind to the level of care that your buildings have somebody come in, do a secret shopper, and give you feedback. There shouldn't be cracks or missing bricks or stucco falling off. Paint jobs should be relatively fresh. Sorry, my screen just blacked out. Paint jobs should be relatively fresh. And if it's seasonal, like Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, if you want to be exceptional, do some decorating. Make it look welcoming. Make it look like it's homey and that people want to hang out there. Another hot tip, I guess, is that if people want to take their pictures in front of your decorations, you've got a really good thing going. So, again, these are exceptional. This is not something I would expect everyone to do, but attractive seasonal decor is a really good mark of an active church. And a lot of people are interested in that kind of ministry. And so maybe it wouldn't be too difficult to find somebody who can make that happen for you regularly. All right, so that's on the exceptional side on arrival, parking lot, and first impressions. Most of our churches will fall under acceptable, which is functional signage, just enough lead time before the driveway, clear main entry point. Parking lot should be litter free and clean, well maintained, and clean looking buildings. So that's acceptable. And then action needed. If your church is missing signage, has hard to read or misleading signage, stuff that used to go to your sanctuary, but now you've moved somewhere else on the property, you need to get that fixed ASAP. If your parking lot is dirty, has potholes, is in disrepair, or if somebody coming in is going to be unclear on where to park or enter or get help, you really need to fix that right away. And if your buildings look shabby at all, um, unfortunately, you might have a very strong spiritual center, but it's not going to appear that way to your guests. We want to be proud of our buildings. And if you are watching this and despairing, like I have at some churches in the past, just know the church doesn't have to be the first point of somebody running into you. So if you're in a place where you're just embarrassed of your church's first impressions, make sure you're not meeting people there for the first time. In homes, I think are even more effective than meeting people at church for the first time. And like our conference is pushing, doing community service, meeting at a place where you can serve together would be a great first impression if you lack the physical good first impressions of a church. All right, that's my thought capture on arrival and parking lot and first impressions. See you next time when we're going to talk about my ultimate, I think, hope for our churches, which is that our greeters would understand their mission and they would be prepared to accept guests. So, greeter and hospitality next up.